When you first start Vertex BD, you can create a new project from the Welcome dialog by selecting New Project and clicking OK. Alternatively, you can go to the File menu and select New Project. In the New Project dialog, select Building as the project use and enter a project ID. The project ID must be 16 characters or less, cannot have any special characters that can't be used in a folder name, and do not use any spaces. I'll call this Training 1. You can put a more descriptive name in the name field. This can be longer and include spaces. Based on allows you to select a project that you're going to be copying when you create a new project. When you start a blank project, you're going to choose a template project. Otherwise, you can choose local project and pick a project that you've already worked on. In this tutorial, we'll start with the template ZL project and click OK. The project data form will open where you can enter in information about your project, such as the customer, the building location, information about the structure itself, contact information, and engineering data. This information is just there for informational purposes only. When you click OK to close the project data, Vertex will automatically open the project to the first level wall layout. The next thing you want to do when you're creating a new project is select how many levels will be active. We can do that by going up in the Project Document Browser, expand the Settings folder, go to Drawing Model Pair Settings, and double-click on Select Active Drawing Model Pairs. This will open up a list of the available drawing model pairs. The ones that are checked are the ones that are currently active. So, for example, if we want to add a third level, we can check off the drawing model pairs associated with the third level. Then click OK. The next step is to set your default wall heights. You can do that by going back up in the Project Document Browser under Settings, Location and Height, and double-click on 3D Levels. Or you can just right-click in the main window and select Edit 3D Levels here. The 3D Levels dialog box lets you change height levels in the project. This interface shows all the height levels in the project, even if those drawing model pairs are not active, so you can just ignore the ones you don't need. The floor type height levels have been set up as main levels and can be changed freely. Ceiling type height levels are sub-levels and are located some distance away from the associated main level. The distance is equal to the total thickness of the selected floor system. If the main level changes, the sub-level will change with it while maintaining that distance. When you add objects to your building, they are automatically constrained to a height level. By default, the bottom of a wall will be constrained to the active floor level, and the top will be constrained to the ceiling level above that floor. Objects like wall cabinets will be constrained by some distance from the ceiling level. If a height level is changed after you start modeling your building, then all of the objects that are constrained to that level will adjust with it, which makes it easy to modify building heights later on. To change the height of an individual layer, simply change the value in the height field for that level in the list view on the left side of the dialog box. You can also change floor-to-ceiling heights and floor-to-floor heights by clicking on one of the dimensions in the preview picture. When you change these dimensions, it automatically adjusts all the levels above, so you don't have to reset every level if the height of the first floor walls changes. If you want to change the thickness of a floor system, first select Fix Floor-to-Floor Height if you want to keep the current floor-to-floor height constant, or Fix Room Height if you want to keep the current floor-to-ceiling height. Then right-click on the floor system that you want to change and select Floor or Ceiling. This will open up the floor selection dialog box. To select a floor, just double-click on the thumbnail. You should see the new name appear in the floor field, and the offset of the ceiling sublevel will get the new value equal to the total thickness of the selected floor system. If your project is slab on grade, then select a slab floor type for your first level floor system. The roof height level is there just to control the top of the fifth floor walls. When you are actually modeling your roof system, you will be selecting the walls that it sits on, so you do not have to change the height of the roof level for locating the roof system. When finished, click OK to close the 3D Levels dialog box, then hit Ctrl S to save your project. One more place we can go while setting up a new project is Project Parameters. In the Project Document Browser, under Settings, go to Design Settings and double-click on Project Parameters. Before 3D Levels was developed, the default wall heights and floor systems were defined in Project Parameters. These parameters are still there, but now they just show the values that we have set in 3D Levels. We still use Project Parameters for several other preferences, such as default window heights and some framing preferences. In this interface, the preview picture only shows 2 levels, but the sets are consistent with the active drawing model pairs. The default window heights are defined in the floor set for each level of the building. The wall framing sets contain panel break rules, compound corner detail selections, and double top plate laps. If you will be using Vertex BD to generate wall framing and you are panelizing, you can set limits for the minimum and maximum panel lengths, as well as preferred panel lengths. When you start generating wall panels, Vertex will automatically break the walls into panels using these settings. If you are not panelizing, you can use large values for the maximum and preferred lengths, so that Vertex will frame each wall as one continuous panel. If you are panelizing a multi-story building and you want the panel breaks to line up vertically through the building, then use the large values to prevent Vertex from creating any automatic panel breaks, and use panel break macros to define the exact locations where you want the panels to break. The macros can be copied from floor to floor, so you can get that vertical alignment. This is discussed in more detail later in the wall framing tutorial videos. You can set different values of these framing preferences for the various wall types by selecting the tabs along the bottom and for each level of the building. The default wall libraries only include exterior bearing, interior bearing, and interior non-bearing walls, so we don't have to worry about the other tabs at this point. When finished, click OK and Ctrl S to save your project.